Okay, you're going to ask me or probably wonder why did I choose the theme that I did for this month, which is all about styling and well-being. Okay, so let me go back. I find this subject very uncomfortable, and I would never ever dream about talking about this to anybody ever until I met my guest for this month's episode. When I had met her, I thought, oh my God, she's so serene. She's so chilled. I wonder what got her into styling. Well, when I sat down and did an interview with her, I felt like I was looking in my mirror and I was taken back in time. Hey everyone, if you are new to this show, welcome. My name is Kirti, and if you haven't yet, subscribe would be a great place, or if better yet, if you want to stay in touch, you want to be part of the conversation, join my Substack, and it's always in the description. Okay, let me crack on with what I was talking about. I was in Curacao for a couple of months and decided I was going to clear up a lot of my old photos and journals. And I came across this one photo that stopped me in my tracks and took me back in time. And it was when I had first got into college, I had met my first friend. It was this guy. And he would pick me up and, because he had a car, he would take me to the station. And we'd always have these best conversations in the car. He was always full of life and he was the kind of person you don't really usually expect as an Indian person, at least in my days and in that time. He was very open minded, he was funny, and he was just unedited. And in that unedited version, he told me, you know what, Kirti, you're always dressing up with these big, baggy clothes. People don't see you. If you want to accelerate in life, you got to dress the part. At that time, I was like, why is he telling me this? And it really annoys me. But years later, I understood. The only sad part is I never told him how much that one moment in time when we were laughing and then he decided to share that with me would play a big role in my life. Now, why is that so sensitive? I need to go even further back in history. When I was 9 years old, at least that's the time period I remember. My uncle would fly in and he was a caring guy and he meant well. But he would always tell me that basically my prospects for marriage would not be so great if I keep being overweight. It's not good for a girl to be this overweight. My career was not defined by being in a financial industry, joining a corporation, or being an engineer. No, mine was defined as getting married and having children. And so you're very aware at the age of 9 that you're now having to be told you're overweight. Your parents don't tell you anything, and you feel like maybe they feel sorry for you and they don't want to say anything. But it played a very big role in my life. And so what I would do is I would eat really badly. I would secretly eat. I would cover up my clothes. I would be rebellious. I didn't like that's a man who had to tell me that my life was defined by, my weight and my marriage. And so by the time I had hit 15 and I really never felt safe in the Indian community, I know that I started being very like I used to fight it all. Then you'd have the aunts, the aunties as such, and they would say, oh my God, look how white she is and how pretty that makes her. And so you're constantly being pressurized and assessed by the way you look on a constant basis. But and yet when you're going into schools or you're in a Dutch environment, that wasn't such a big conversation from a different culture. At least that's what I felt or thought. So my whole life, I was always in the back of my head, living with the shame that I am fat and I am ugly, but yet I'm supposedly pretty because I have got white skin. And so, of course, having to be told at 18 that it's about you and it's about how it does affect the way people see you. The way my friend Sanjay had explained it to me felt different. And over the years after that, I did meet another few actually really nice male allies who would encourage me to feel good about myself. It wasn't about getting to that size 6 or that size 4 or whatever. It was actually do it, but do it for you. And so listening to the story with Rema, that is what got me thinking about my past and why it is so important in this day and age. It is still influencing individuals out there. It still influences women and girls out there. I remember that when I traded in my wonderful suits and everything for yoga clothes, I didn't realize that because I was so tired, I wanted to just be me, but that meant flip flops and yoga trousers and athletic wear. I didn't feel very confident anymore. And I stopped wearing makeup for a long, long time. And so clothes do play a role in the way it affects the way you dress, um, the way you show up in the world, just as yourself as well. So this month's topic for me really, I thought, how am I going to talk about it actually without sharing all this discomfort? Because I'm always aware when I talk about these life experiences of mine, because it's about how other people saw me or all kept telling me who I should be and how I should be seen. I feel bad. I almost feel like I feel bad that I'm talking ill about them, even though I don't. So I sit quietly with these stories and think maybe I shouldn't be telling this to other people. But the pressure from outside is real. It is a big thing. Even up until recently, when I was in the UK or when I'm on the podcast, I know when I was doing the podcast, people would tell me how I should wear my makeup. And I just thought to myself, is the content important or the way I look? And it's always coming from a particular culture at that time. When I was on the stage in the conferences, I'd have to be more professional, or a man would tell me I have to smile more, or women would have something to say like, "Oh, we would never have realized what your story was about because you don't look the part." Little small comments make a big difference. And this is what is at my forefront or on the top of my head for this month's team. When we go into a working environment, especially for a woman, it's quite tough because you are assessed by how you speak, how you look, how you dress. Every little thing just seems to still matter no matter how many decades we go further. And so I thought, you know what? It's still time to talk about it. And what if we spoke about it from a multicultural lens? And styling has a lot of different layers as well. It's not just fashion. There's so much more that goes on to styling and how it affects our well-being. And so I want to invite you to that conversation, that how something as much as this can impact and influence the way you show up, and what is it reflecting about you from the inside. I know when I was in the yoga phase, it was reflecting my exhaustion. It was reflecting of my self-care period. And then when I went through the phase of traveling the world and wanting to see different environments, but also get lost and not be judged, I made myself even more invisible. And I wore jeans and a t-shirt, and I lived out of one suitcase for a couple of years. It taught me about how to minimize my wardrobe, but in the sense I had to look at different ways to find my style in different countries. And in Italy, it was about scarves. In Barcelona, it was about printed shirts. In the Netherlands, it was more bland. Every country has its own styling and its own particular way. And I explored each of these. And now being in Dubai, again, my wardrobe in the UK does not suit here. Initially, I would have had a problem with it, but now I've come to see it as a sort of a canvas and I can have joy from it from a female's perspective. I don't know much about the male perspective. I would be curious about it. But I think what I'm getting at is styling is important. Styling does have significance on our well being. And I'm not sure how aware we are of it or what we can do about it. And this month, listening to Rema, there's so many tips, so many ways. And and this month, listening to Rema, she has left me with so much introspection and also things to think about. And I hope it inspires you as it inspired me. Hey, enjoy this month's episodes and also look out for the pause phrases that I'm going to come out with and share. If you're not sure what they are, I have recently launched a deck of cards called Just Be Me. And these are very short phrases that help you see how you are influenced in your mind and how to stop certain influences so you can just take a different approach or have a different communication. And if you want to know more, of course, join my Substack. I'd love to have you there. Love to hear what you think about it as well. Have a good one. Till the next one. Take care.